Next up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Steel Penny with an S mint mark is one of the most talked about coins among collectors because it was part of a unique chapter in United States coinage history. In 1943, normal copper was needed for the war effort, so pennies were made from zinc-coated steel instead of copper. The result was a penny with a silver-gray look that feels different from any other Lincoln cent. The S mint mark on this coin shows it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and that makes it part of the story of wartime coin production. When a coin is described as dirty condition, it means the penny has spent many years in circulation or in storage and has accumulated grime, discoloration, and surface marks. A dirty 1943 S steel penny will often appear dark gray or almost black in places, with patches of oxidation, rust, or dirt stuck in the tiny crevices of the design. The details of Lincoln's face and coat on the front and the wheat stalks on the back will be worn and may be hard to see clearly because of surface wear and corrosion. Despite this, the date and S mint mark remain visible, and the coin is still identifiable as a 1943 steel penny. The value of a dirty 1943 S Lincoln steel penny in today's market in dollar terms is modest because condition plays a major role in how much collectors are willing to pay. Because so many 1943 steel pennies were produced, most examples survive in various conditions, from nearly new to very worn. In dirty condition, a 1943 S steel penny typically sells for around 10 cents to 50 cents, depending on how heavy the corrosion and wear are. Coins with extreme rust or pitting that makes the date or mint mark hard to read will sell at the lower end of that range, while examples where the date and S mark are still readable may fetch a little more. Stories about 1943 pennies selling for thousands of dollars usually refer to rare errors or copper examples mistakenly struck on the wrong metal. Those rare pieces are not representative of the common 1943 S steel penny in dirty condition. For most collectors, a heavily worn or dirty steel penny from this year has only modest collectible value, but it still has interest because of its historical context. The 1943 S steel penny was used in everyday commerce at a time when the world was at war. People spent these coins on groceries, fare, and basic goods just as they would spend any ordinary cent. Over time, many became worn or dirty and were eventually pulled from circulation. Decades later, collectors find them in old collections, boxes, and drawers, and recognize them as part of the story of American coins. Collectors often keep a selection of steel pennies from 1943 with mint marks from San Francisco, Denver, and Philadelphia to show the differences in strike location and survival. A dirty example is often used to teach new collectors about how condition affects value and how important it is to preserve coins properly if they want higher market value. If you have a 1943 Abraham Lincoln Wheat steel penny with an S mint mark in dirty condition, you should expect its value in today's market to be under $1 and often in the range of a few cents to several tens of cents. It may not bring high prices, but it represents an interesting piece of history and a chance to learn more about how coins circulated and aged over time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you in next time. Happy collecting! First up, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is a coin that marks the final year of the long-running wheat penny design. In 1958, the United States Mint continued to produce the classic Lincoln cent with the wheat ears on the reverse before switching to the new design later that year. Because these coins were struck in Philadelphia, they do not carry a mint mark beneath the date. This makes the 1958 no mint mark penny a meaningful piece for collectors who appreciate the history of one of America's most familiar coin series. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 and quickly became one of the most widely collected and circulated coins in United States history. It features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date at the bottom. The reverse shows two stylized wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. This design remained in place for nearly 50 decades, and coins from each year tell a story about the era in which they were made. A 1958 wheat penny without a mint mark in dirty condition has seen many years of circulation and handling. Dirty condition means the coin shows noticeable wear and the surfaces may be darkened or stained from exposure to the elements and contact with other coins. The details on Lincoln's face and coat are worn, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are smooth in many areas. Coins in this state are often found in old collections, boxes, or jars of mixed change, and they reflect real everyday use rather than preservation for collectors. When discussing the dollar value for a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in dirty condition, it is important to understand that condition greatly affects the market value. Because so many of these coins were made and so many survive, even heavily worn and dirty examples are not rare. In today's market, a typical 1958 no mint mark penny in dirty condition usually trades for around 10 cents to 50 cents. Coins with heavier wear, corrosion, or significant surface issues tend to be closer to the lower end of that range, while examples with cleaner surfaces and more visible detail, even if still dirty, may bring slightly more. Collectors and buyers often look for coins that show more detail or have better overall eye appeal, and a dirty coin with indistinct features attracts limited interest beyond its historical significance and date completion value. The 1958 wheat penny remains a collectible piece because it represents the end of a long design era, but the trade value for a worn and dirty example is modest in dollar terms. Many people might encounter 1958 wheat pennies in everyday change or old coin collections and wonder if they are valuable. The reality for a dirty, circulated coin from this year is that its value rarely exceeds its face value by a large margin. Only coins with better condition or special characteristics attract noticeable premiums in the marketplace. Even though the dollar value for a dirty 1958 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is modest, these coins are still significant from a historical perspective. They connect us to a time when coins passed through countless hands and served as part of everyday transactions. For collectors building sets by date, the 1958 penny in any condition is important to complete the series and tell the full story of Lincoln's long presence on the cent. If you enjoy finding old coins and exploring their history, a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny in dirty condition offers a small glimpse into mid-20th century American life and the transition to new coinage designs. While its value in today's market is usually under $1, its place in the long-running Lincoln wheat penny series makes it a worthy piece for many coin enthusiasts. The 1950 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with an S mint mark in damaged condition is a coin that tells a story about time and wear, but holds interest for collectors. This penny was struck in 1950 at the San Francisco Mint and bears the S mint mark beneath the date. The Lincoln wheat penny series began in 1909 and continued until 1958 with the familiar wheat ears on the reverse and Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. These coins were everyday money that circulated widely in the United States, and now many of them survive in various conditions. When a coin is described as damaged, it means that it has been through rough handling or exposure to harsh conditions over the years. Damage can include bent or scratched surfaces, corrosion, staining, holes, or other imperfections that go beyond normal wear from circulation. A damaged 1950 S wheat penny will show these kinds of problems, but it still can be a collectible piece because of its date, mint mark, and place in history. The 1950 S Lincoln wheat penny was made in a much smaller number than the Philadelphia issue, so it is less common but not rare in most grades. In today's market, even coins in damaged condition can attract interest from collectors who want to complete sets or who study coins in all kinds of conditions. However, damage greatly affects value, and the coin's worth in dollars must reflect that impact. For a 1950 S Lincoln wheat penny in heavily damaged condition, the value in today's market is generally modest. Most damaged examples sell for only a small premium over face value because serious collectors prefer coins with intact surfaces and clear details.
In many cases, a damaged 1950 penny will sell for between $1 to $3, depending on the type and severity of the damage and how appealing the coin appears to a buyer. Extreme damage, such as deep gouges or heavy corrosion, can reduce the value to near face value because the coin's eye appeal and original design are so compromised. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln wheat pennies often focus on coins in pleasing condition with good details and attractive color, but some collectors are interested in unusual pieces, including those that have seen rough life. A damaged 1950 penny can be a conversation piece or a low-cost way to own a less common mint mark in a set. Its historical significance comes from being minted in San Francisco at a time when the United States was emerging from the difficulties of war and returning to normal economic growth. Even though the value in dollars for a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny is relatively low, the coin has value as a historical artifact and a piece of the long-running Lincoln series of United States coinage. If you have one of these coins in your collection, you should understand that condition matters most in coin pricing, and damaged coins are valued primarily for completion rather than investment. In summary, a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny in damaged condition is collectible but not highly valuable in dollar terms. Most trade hands for only a few dollars in today's market, depending on how much damage they have suffered. The real worth of the coin lies in its connection to American history and its role in one of the most popular and enduring sequences of United States coinage.
Next up, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is the final year of the classic wheat penny series. In 1959, the design would change to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, making the 1958 penny the last of its kind. Because of this, the 1958 wheat penny holds a special place in the history of United States coinage. The absence of a mint mark means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as was standard for that time. The overall design remains familiar, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the two wheat ears on the back framing the denomination and country name. In a normal, dirty, circulated condition, this 1958 penny shows many signs of circulation and age. It may be darkened by years of handling with dirt and surface marks that cover parts of the design. The high points of Lincoln's hair and coat are worn smooth, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are flattened and lack sharp detail. The date and major design elements are still readable, but the overall appearance reflects heavy use over decades. Coins in this condition are common because pennies were everyday coins that passed through countless hands for purchases large and small. The value in today's market for a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in normal, dirty, circulated condition is generally modest because the coin was produced in vast numbers and many survive even after heavy wear. In most cases, these dirty, circulated pennies trade for a small premium over face value simply because they are older coins that collectors enjoy owning. Most of the time, the value falls around 20 to 50 cents in current market terms. A very average, worn, dirty example with no special eye appeal will often sell at the lower end of this range, while a slightly more attractive circulated piece may sell closer to 50 cents. It is important to understand that this value reflects typical market conditions for a common date circulated penny. The 1958 no mint mark wheat penny is not considered rare or difficult to find, especially in worn grades. High prices you may see online often belong to coins in exceptional condition or coins with unusual errors. A normal, dirty, circulated coin does not reach those higher dollar amounts because the supply of such coins remains plentiful. Despite its modest market value, this coin is still significant because it represents the end of the wheat penny era. Collectors often include worn examples like this in date runs or historical collections because they tell a story about everyday life and commerce at the time. Holding a worn 1958 penny connects you with the past and with the millions of people who used similar coins for decades. For new collectors, these normal, dirty, circulated pennies are a great way to learn about condition grading and market value without spending large amounts of money. They serve as accessible examples of key dates and transitions in coin design. Even though the value in dollars is limited, the historical worth and educational value are much greater. If you own a 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in normal, dirty, circulated condition, you can expect its value in today's market to be around 20 to 50 cents. This value reflects the current demand among collectors for common circulated coins and the reality of supply and condition in the market. The true worth of the coin lies in its history and place as the final year of the wheat penny series, rather than in high dollar figures. Next up, the 1927 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark is a coin that captures a special moment in American numismatic history and remains a sought-after piece for many collectors. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint in 1927, which is why it carries the small letter D below the date on the obverse. The term wheat refers to the classic Lincoln wheat penny design that was used from 1909 through 1958, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and two stylized wheat ears framing the denomination on the reverse. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was introduced to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it became deeply popular because it honored a beloved president with a realistic portrait at a time when most coins featured allegorical figures rather than real people. The design shows Lincoln's profile on the obverse with "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" on the left, and the year at the base. The reverse displays the denomination, 1 cent, and United States of America, surrounded by two symmetrical ears of wheat with E pluribus unum at the top. This design is simple yet elegant, and over decades, millions of these pennies were used in everyday commerce. In 1927, the United States was experiencing relative peace and economic growth in the years after World War I. Coins like the Lincoln wheat penny were common in the pockets of workers and shoppers, and many thousands were produced by the Denver Mint that year. But because fewer coins were made at Denver in some years compared to Philadelphia, these Denver coins are generally more desirable to collectors today. A 1927 D Lincoln wheat penny in good condition means that the coin has been in circulation for many years and shows wear but retains recognizable design details. In good condition, the major features of Lincoln's profile are visible even though worn, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are flattened in many places but present. When determining the value in dollars of a 1927 D Lincoln wheat penny in good condition, the market looks at demand from collectors for this date and the overall supply of coins in comparable condition. For this particular date and mint mark in good grade, the coin generally trades for a price that reflects its popularity among date collectors and its relative scarcity compared to more common dates. In today's market, a 1927 D Lincoln wheat penny in good condition is typically worth more than face value, but still within a modest range, reflecting its condition and collector interest. Values for this coin in good condition are often in the range of several dollars rather than just cents, and many examples sell in a range that experienced collectors agree represents a fair price for this grade. Collectors often compare coins of the same date in different grades to understand how much condition affects value. A wheat penny in good condition shows the outline of Lincoln's head and the wheat ears on the back, but with heavy wear, while higher grades show more defined details. Because the 1927 D penny was struck in lower numbers relative to some other years, and because Denver coins attract interest, it commands a noticeable premium in worn grades compared to very common dates. The coin's value in good condition remains realistic and tied to what collectors are willing to pay when buying or selling. It is also important to understand that actual sale prices can vary based on factors such as eye appeal and surface quality, even within the same grade. Coins with unattractive surfaces or heavy scratches may sell for less, while pieces with more pleasing color and cleaner surfaces can bring higher prices within the established range. For a 1927 D Lincoln wheat penny in good condition, the market has typically shown that values stay in a range that reflects steady interest but not extreme rarity requiring thousands of dollars. This coin represents a slice of American history, and many collectors enjoy owning a 1927 D Lincoln wheat penny as part of a complete series, or simply because it is a piece that circulated nearly a century ago. Even in good condition, the coin connects us to a time when pennies were made of nearly pure copper and passed through countless hands in everyday use. If you have a 1927 D. Abraham Lincoln wheat penny in good condition, you can expect its value in today's market to be significantly higher than its face value, though still reasonable in dollars for a worn collectible piece. Understanding the history, the condition, and the current demand helps you appreciate why this classic coin remains desirable and how its value reflects its long life in circulation and enduring appeal to collectors worldwide. Next up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark is a coin that many collectors and everyday people recognize because it represents a later example in the long-running Lincoln wheat penny series. In 1956, the Denver Mint produced pennies that carried the small letter D below the date, and these coins were made of copper, just like most other Lincoln cents of that time. However, there are also unusual coins from that year made of steel or with errors that draw extra attention from collectors and can be worth more than their face value. The standard 1956 Lincoln wheat penny is copper, and in circulated condition, most coins show wear from many years of use. A circulated coin means it was used in everyday commerce, and the high points of the design shows smoothing and loss of fine detail. On a circulated 1956 D mint mark penny, Lincoln's hair and coat details are worn, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are smooth. These signs of wear come from decades of handling and are common for coins that spent time in pockets, cash registers, and coin rolls. When we talk about value in today's market in dollars for a 1956 D wheat penny in circulated condition, we are referring to what collectors are willing to pay for a coin that has been used but still remains a collectible piece of history. Most circulated 1956 D Lincoln wheat pennies trade for amounts slightly above face value because there are so many of them available. Typical circulation wear examples generally have a value of about 15 cents to 50 cents, depending on how worn the coin is and how attractive it looks to a buyer. There are exceptions when a specific coin might be worth more. Some 1956 coins are found with unusual surface issues or errors that make them stand out from normal examples. These error coins can bring higher prices because collectors seek out unique pieces. But for a regular 1956 D Lincoln wheat penny in standard circulated condition, the realistic dollar value remains modest and reflects collector demand for everyday coins rather than rare treasures. Collectors enjoy coins like the 1956 D penny because they are part of the story of everyday American currency. That year was near the end of the wheat penny era, and collectors building sets often look for each date and mint mark to complete their collection. A circulated condition coin may not be worth a large amount in dollar terms, but it fills an important place in a complete set and shows the natural wear of a coin that's circulated for many years. It is also worth noting that prices seen in online listings do not always reflect what a coin will actually sell for, because sellers sometimes list coins at high dollar amounts, hoping for a collector's interest. Actual sale prices for a typical circulated 1956 D penny are based on what buyers and sellers agree upon in the market and tend to stay within the modest range mentioned earlier. If you are new to coin collecting, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny in circulated condition offers a great example of how condition affects value. More wear means lower dollar value, and less wear means a bit more, but most circulated examples remain affordable and common. This makes them excellent coins for teaching the basics of coin grading and market pricing. So, if you have a 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark in circulated condition, you should understand that its value in today's market in dollars is generally under $1, but still of interest to collectors who appreciate the long history of the Lincoln wheat penny series. Next up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny with an S mint mark is one of the most interesting coins ever made in the Lincoln cent series. During the year 1943, the United States was deeply involved in World War II, and copper was needed for military equipment. Because of this, the normal copper penny was replaced with a zinc-coated steel version. This change gave the 1943 penny its famous silver-gray color and made it completely different from other Lincoln wheat pennies. The S mint mark on this coin shows that it was struck at the San Francisco Mint.
You can see this small letter just below the date on the front of the coin. The design itself remains the same as other wheat pennies, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and two wheat ears on the back surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. Even though the design did not change, the metal composition makes this coin stand out immediately. Extra fine condition means the coin has only light wear and still shows strong details. On a 1943 steel penny in extra fine condition, Lincoln's facial features, hairlines, and coat details are clear and sharp. On the reverse, the wheat stalks still have visible lines and texture, with only slight smoothing on the highest points. The coin may show small signs of age, but overall it looks well preserved for a piece that is more than 80 years old. In today's market, the value of a 1943 Lincoln wheat steel penny with an S mint mark in extra fine condition is usually between $1 and $2. Coins with better eye appeal, bright surfaces, and less spotting may sell on the higher end of this range, while darker or slightly stained examples may sell closer to $1. These values reflect normal collector demand and realistic market prices. Many people hear stories about extremely valuable 1943 pennies selling for huge amounts of money. Those stories usually involve rare copper versions or unusual minting errors. A regular steel penny from 1943, even with an S mint mark, does not reach those extreme values. It is still collectible and desirable, but its value remains modest in dollar terms. This coin is special because it represents a moment in history when even small everyday objects were affected by global events. The steel penny was a direct result of wartime shortages, and holding one today is like holding a small piece of World War II history. Millions of people used these coins during that time, and many were lost, damaged, or discarded, which adds to their historical interest. Collectors often include the 1943 S steel penny in wartime sets or complete Lincoln wheat penny collections. Extra fine examples are especially popular because they show strong detail while still being affordable. For new collectors, this coin is an excellent way to learn about grading, metal composition, and historical context. If you have a 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny with an S mint mark in extra fine condition, you can be confident that its value in today's market is around $1 to $2. While it may not be a rare treasure, its history, design, and unique metal make it one of the most memorable pennies ever produced.
Next up, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny without a mint mark is a coin that many people find in change, collections, old jars, and drawers at home. This coin was produced by the Philadelphia Mint in 1956, and because Philadelphia did not use a mint mark at that time, the coin simply shows the date without any letter. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series began in 1909 with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front and the two wheat ears on the back, and continued through 1958. This long-running design makes the series very popular with collectors of all levels. The 1956 penny is made of the traditional bronze composition that had been used for Lincoln cents for decades. The front of the coin shows Lincoln facing to the right with the words, "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the date at the bottom. On the reverse, two wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum at the top. Even though the design is familiar to many people, the value of the coin depends on several factors, including condition and eye appeal. When we talk about dirty condition, we mean a coin that has been in circulation for many years and shows surface darkening, dirt deposits, and rough areas from use. A dirty 1956 wheat penny may have lost some of its original luster, and the details may appear worn or flat. On these coins, Lincoln's hair and coat details will be smooth, and the wheat ears on the back will show minimal texture. Despite this worn appearance, the coin still holds interest because it is part of an iconic series that spans nearly half a century. In today's market, the value of a 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny without a mint mark in dirty condition is generally modest. Most of these coins trade for close to their face value and only a small premium above 1 cent. Typical values in dollars for a dirty circulated example are usually about 10 cents to 30 cents depending on how worn and how dirty the surfaces appear. Coins that are very rough, heavily stained, or corroded may sell for even less and rarely attract strong collector interest. It is important to understand that a dirty condition coin is not the same as a rare or valuable coin. Some people see old coins and assume that their age makes them valuable, but condition plays a major role in determining worth. A penny from 1956, even though it is old and collectible in better grades, is common in worn and dirty condition. Because millions were made and many still survive, these everyday examples do not command high dollar prices. This coin still has historical significance because it circulated during the post-war era when everyday Americans used pennies to buy groceries and other daily items. Holding a 1956 wheat penny connects us with that time in history, even if the coin shows wear and dirt from years of use. Collectors often include these coins in complete date runs or as teaching pieces to help new collectors understand how condition affects value. If you have a 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat still penny without a mint mark in dirty condition, you can expect its value in today's market to be low in dollar terms, but its true worth comes from its place in the long story of American coinage. It may not be a high-value collectible, but it represents a piece of everyday history that circulated through countless hands and remains a fun item for anyone interested in coins. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you in next time. Happy collecting!